Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Five Reasons Sports Post Game Show, which I guess we're rebranding as the Post Up soon. I don't know. I got to get comfortable with that, but you guys know what this is already. Miami pulls out a 101-90 win over the Chicago Bulls, only 9 points off from my amazing prediction yesterday. But tonight I got with me my man Ariel Atias, got Brian Young. We got Simba turning up from whatever location he's in. My man Gadiel Cartagena. What? I have no idea why he jumped here just to do that. But yeah, so Miami got a good win. I think the win turned into a good win in the fourth quarter because I think leading up for the rest of the game, it was a bit iffy as to how the game would shake out. So I'm going to throw this to Brian first. Brian, give me your thoughts on the game.
Like you said, I mean, leading up to the fourth, it was kind of iffy. They probably shouldn't have been in a tick-for-tack game with the Bulls, but our boy Goran Dragic, as y'all can see, everybody's repping our guy. He destroyed the Bulls in the fourth quarter. So I think overall that kind of makes it a great win. I'm very, very happy with that dub.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was I obviously the man Goran Dragic. It was 20 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Absolutely unstoppable. We got the man Marco Romo joining us. The boy Marco has also been freed on Twitter. You feel me?
Finally.
Kinda. He on probation, but it don't matter. My boy just jumped. My boy just jumped. Hey, but we gonna keep the show going. We're gonna go with Gad. Gad, tell me what your thoughts on the game were.
It was ugly game in the first half. The second quarter I wanted to rip my eyes out. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. And the third quarter, I mean, third quarter was honestly interesting. It was just blow after blow, just trading blows the entire time. And then fourth quarter was just Goran. This man went nuclear in the fourth quarter. I was super happy with Goran. Like this man, he was Kobe White and Zach Levine. Sorry, I always say Levine. Kobe White and Zach Levine. Oh my gosh, I keep stumbling. Were so annoyed with the way Goran kept hitting those mid-range, and he was just getting buckets on them. I was super happy with the way Goran ended that game. We needed somebody else to step up outside of Jimmy, and we got it done.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting how when you were talking about the way that Goran was getting those buckets, because up until the fourth quarter, Goran was not having a great game. You know what I mean? So, I was very happy to see what he did. You came in last, Marco, so you get to go last. Ariel, what did you see from the game, bro?
I don't think we should be all that surprised that it was kind of a disgusting game and hard to watch for the most part because, both teams are playing on a back-to-back. A lot of those shots, open, contested, whatever it was, were either air balls or front rimmed, right? So it was kind of when we gave our score predictions yesterday, I predicted a low-scoring game. I kind of had a feeling that it would be this kind of disgusting matter. But, I mean, Gad and I this morning talked about on the shoot-around, which you guys should check out on either his or my Twitter feeds every game day morning. We talked about some keys to the game for the Heat to get a W, right? And the keys were
pace.
That the Heat needed to control the pace. That's just the camera, my man. I'm working on it. The Heat needed to control the pace and slow the game down, take care of the ball, not commit a lot of turnovers. The Heat are one of the higher turnover teams in the league. They ended the game with just 9 turnovers. On the other side, they needed to force the Bulls into some tough spots and pressure their ball handlers because the Bulls are one of the highest turnover teams in the league. Actually, I believe they're tied for dead last at 16 turnovers per game, right? So the Bulls ended with exactly that, 16 turnovers. And frankly, they're one of the highest fouling teams in the NBA. They're 5th in free throw attempts against. They are not a sound defensive team. They foul a ton. Jimmy got to the line for 12 free throws. He carried the team for the majority of the game until Goran had it going in the fourth quarter, and that was so encouraging to see from my boy Goran because it kind of feels like it's been a little bit since he's really had an explosive stretch. I look back at the stats, and I think it was 5 or 6 games ago where he had a 26-point game. Other than that, though, it's been, 11 points, 12 points every night. And so this was really encouraging to see. At a certain point, though, and my last takeaway is I feel like we need to start having a dialogue about Tyler Hero because he just doesn't look like he has it lately. He really, really seems out of it. The confidence isn't there. I don't know if the jump shot mechanics are different. They kind of feel like they might be to me, but he just hasn't had a good game in a little while, and it's something that I'm at least relatively concerned about.
Yeah, so I think two things. We're going to get to Tyler and his performance tonight. That is absolutely a topic of concern for should be the entire Heat fan base, and we're going to break that down a little bit. Another thing that you mentioned was how Goran took over the game after Jimmy had carried it for the majority of it. Like it felt like another one of those games where it was going to end up being Jimmy or bust coming down to the end, and Goran taking on that burden, something that we've hoped that he would do because we know he's capable. Like he did it tonight and gave Jimmy a night off in the fourth, and that's something that I think every Heat fan should be like happy about. Marco, you making your return to Twitter? You making your return to stream? You came on stream when you was on break, but go ahead, Romo. Tell me what you saw from the game tonight, brother.
Pretty much, it was a game of wills. It was like two dead tired boxers trying to see who could land that final blow. I'm glad that Miami landed it with Goran pretty much delivering it because it wasn't going to be Jimmy. Jimmy looked like he was like, somebody else better help my ass or I'm gonna like get up out of here. And I was just glad to see that Goran did that. I was also interesting that the Bulls made almost as many shots in the paint as they did from outside the 3-point line, which was insane. That tells you how like tired their legs were. They were like, we're not gonna even try to go inside. We're just gonna chuck up threes, which almost worked out for them because they were like 13 of 29 after 3 quarters. But those shots stopped falling during the fourth, and that pretty much broke their will. They were like, we don't really care enough to even try to go in the paint. But that's the thing that's Miami's done really well all throughout the year. They've kept teams from shooting shots inside. That's like they're really strong at keeping teams outside of that. That's a lot to do sometimes with the zone, but that's also with Bam. And when you don't have Bam out there, it's pretty impressive that they still have been able to do that, even without him. That was encouraging for me. The defense is still like really good. Again, you're playing some shitty teams, but you can only play who's in front of you, and you got to pull these wins out whichever way you can. The Tyler thing, though, yeah, that's kind of worrying me as well. I don't know what's wrong with him. When he drives, he looks like he doesn't know whether to score or he's just looking to pass out. He passes out to Iguodala more than any other player on the team, I swear.
Yeah, so the thing, let's kind of shift our attention to some of the individual performances from the night. I don't know if you guys want to go from bad to good or good to bad, because I mean I think some of the ancillary pieces that we're talking about, kind of like a Kendrick Nunn and Kelly O, while their impact wasn't felt on necessarily the stat sheet as much, you could see like Kendrick Nunn getting the team into offense and making some plays, being a playmaker for other people, and the defense improvement has continued. And Kelly played again another solid defensive game. So, Brian, who was your favorite role player from the night?
You know what? Normally I would go with KZ, but I'll say KO. I feel like he played a decent game, and he was pretty close to a double-double, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. You don't need Kelly O to be, a superstar. You don't need him to be Kelly Bird, to win games. If he has games like this where he's playing solid defense, hits a couple threes, rebounds, I think you can win a lot of games with him just being that really solid role player we kind of all hope he can consistently, be every night.
Okay, so I'm not gonna. You got off lucky tonight, Ari. You're not saddled with KO. Who was your favorite role player tonight, bro?
Before I give you that, I just want to agree with Brian. Like I thought KZ had some really, really good stretches. Both halves, frankly. Like defensively, he had a really nice block on. I don't remember who it was. I believe in the first half, might have been the second half, any point during the game. But he overall just like really, really played a good game. I was happy with what we saw from KZ. Took a couple threes with no hesitation, so that was good. The guy I'm going to go with, though, is Duncan Robinson, man. Like, he just was pretty much lights out. He acted as, a release valve for the offense when a lot of shit just wasn't working and they kicked it out to him. Nobody was making anything all night until the fourth, really. But Duncan had it going. I think he went into the fourth with 4 made threes. I might be wrong. You guys can correct me if that's the case. But Duncan had a really good game. He shot the ball pretty well. I think he went 5 of 9. He had 15 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, which is really nice to see from Duncan. Maybe he's turning into a lockdown defender. Who knows? But Duncan's my guy. He had a really good game, and the Heat needed it because, again, nobody could make anything for the majority of that game.
Can anybody figure out what the fuck's going on with Gad? Like, so Marco, we're gonna come to you. They took two of the players. You take another role player. Who was your favorite role player from the night?
I want to go Chris Silva just to give him some love because he wasn't a tire fire out there. I would be worried if I was a Precious fan or just Precious himself. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I don't want to speculate about any trades or anything, but that's very interesting to me because last night it made sense that, you know, he made like bad decisions and Spo was like, okay, I'm going to discipline you by not playing you. But like another night, that was a little strange. But I'll go with KO. Why not? You know,
you can't choose KO. You can't choose KO. Brian already chose KO.
No, he went KZ.
No, Brian went KO.
KO.
Brian went KO, and
my
then
bad.
he gave a shout out to KZ.
Okay.
You shouted out KZ, and then you went Duncan.
I tend to tune out everything when it comes to KO, so I missed that.
I guess
So,
I'll
you
stick
can't
with
choose-
Chris though.
Okay.
He had a really nice I think it was a block on Dad or Wendell Carter Jr. I thought that was going to be a dunk, and he just left out of nowhere. I was like, holy crap! I don't know if he could get up that high. But yeah, shout out to Chris Silva. He was a good ancillary big whenever they needed it, like just minutes to soak up. It's still surprising that Precious only played the first quarter for like I think 3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah,
And
That was-
Silva got 12.
I thought they were good minutes too. Like the
Yeah, they
energy was
were.
there. Like
Yeah.
he had good minutes.
it's just surprising to me that, you know, Precious got 3 minutes out of that, especially with no Bam. And the Bulls are a pretty big team when you like their front line is Thad, Wendell, and Laurie. That's like 3 legit 6'10" and above dudes. So it was just surprising to me. But yeah, shout out to Chris Silva not being a total tire fire. Thank you for that. They needed that, but yeah, I'm still very perplexed by the Precious stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, during this time that Bam has been out, like Spo has only played 2 bigs, and so you know KO's going to play, and you have a choice between Precious and Chris Silva, and for the past 2 games, Chris Silva's been the guy. So that's very telling. Gad, we're picking our favorite role players. Chris Silva, KO, and Duncan Robinson are already off the board.
Can't go with Tyler Hero. He didn't play well.
Nope.
KZ Okpala. Let's talk about KZ.
Yeah, everybody gave KZ a little shout out, but let's talk about him.
Yeah, you know, obviously, if you look at the stat sheet and maybe the advanced metrics will tell you that he was getting absolutely toasted by Zach Levine, but Levine, I always do this. But his defense was not that bad today. The fouls were still pretty stupid. He honestly should have gotten called for 2 more fouls. He probably should have fouled out of the game if the refs were calling it the right way. But he was aggressive, attacking, and he was able to play some semblance of team defense as well. So I was happy with the way KZ played. I can't complain with that. Better than I've seen from him most nights.
Yeah, I think a very telling sign is the fact that KZ was able to keep himself on the floor for 25 minutes tonight.
Mhm.
That was big for us, for him to be able to soak up that kind. No Mo, like we didn't see Mo Harkless tonight, and that was kind of surprising considering how well he played last night. But you know, KZ was able to step in. He filled that role very well. Let's talk about Tyler though. Like, what the fuck is going on there? Like, Brian, you can start, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, you know, it could be attributed to a sophomore slump, you know, kind of middle of the season. This is kind of when we see young guys start to take that little bit of a dip. But also, you know, I think that this isn't too atypical with guys in his role. You know, if your primary job is come off the bench and score for us, you know, it happens to every player where there's going to be a few games where we just kind of slump, right? But this is the good thing about him being a 6-man is, you know, when he has it, he plays. When he doesn't, he doesn't. So I don't think it's too much of an issue. I mean, obviously you would like the offense, but, you know, I think this is just something that, you know, is going to happen from time to time with him, especially being as young as he is.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. The inconsistencies are a part of it. I think what's worrisome is now that these games are starting to stack up on him where he's not playing very well. Ariel, you kind of made that point a little bit earlier. Where are you on Tyler Hero right now and the way he's been playing?
It's kind of hard to explain. I've got a couple of theories, but over his last 6 games, I just looked at the numbers real quick. So 4 points. These are his last 6 games going backwards. 4 points, 17 points, 2 points, 9 points, 14, and 5. That's 51 points over 6 games. That's about 8 8.5 points per game over his last 6. So he's struggling in a big, big way. I don't know if he lost some semblance of confidence when Spo put him back on the bench and he wasn't looked at as the guy that was going to run the team to the level that he was earlier in the season when they put him as the starting point guard with the primary ball handling duties. But it could be that. It could also be that perhaps he heard some of the trade chatter and that messed up with his confidence, right? We've heard of things like that happening before in the NBA. It's been documented that happened to some of the Lakers' younger players before they traded for Anthony Davis. Could be happening again with Tyler Hero. So I really don't know what it is. Marco mentioned before that like when he goes to the rim, a lot of the time he just kind of looks lost. Like he doesn't really know what he wants to do. He's indecisive. He'll kick it out to the wrong guy or a poor shooter in favor of, instead of just taking the easy layup or the higher percentage shot. So I really don't know. I can't put my finger on it, and figure out exactly what it is. It's kind of perplexing, but I don't know if it might be a loss of confidence and it might be that, the trade talks messed with him, but something's going on there and it's a little bit concerning.
Yeah. I mean, I think the confidence is really, really the key to it all because I've talked about it last night, Ethan's tweet about when Tyler Hero is confident, then there's just a different air to him. There's a different bounce in his step. He plays like he's the best player on the court, even though he may not be. Marco, where are you on Tyler Hero, and what do you see as the primary struggle, or what's the reason for this?
I don't think there's a one thing you can point out to. There's like a multitude of stuff you can like point out to. Like I think the confidence is definitely a big thing. He's a guy that like thrives off of that type of stuff. It kind of reminds me of the problem that Nuggets fans, a lot of my Nuggets friends have had with Michael Porter Jr. this year, is that they've had these spots where they've looked like they like lost all their like energy. They look lost out on the floor sometimes because they don't know what role they're supposed to play. Like they finally moved Michael Porter Jr. into like the power forward because he was like stinking it up at the small forward, and it's sometimes it is about just finding the right role for yourself. And maybe that's what Tyler needs. He just needs to find that place in his role. But they moved him around so much this year that maybe he just needs to find a consistent role. Maybe that would be good for him, good for his confidence. Just find something steady to be able to keep doing every night instead of having to figure out what you're going to do today or tomorrow. Because you're going to need him to be better than this. Because you can't rely on Goran to be bubble Goran every night, pretty much. And you're going to need somebody else to help Jimmy. You're going to need somebody to step up because we were all expecting Tyler to do that. Like in the fourth, we were like, okay, here comes Tyler. But, you were lucky to get Goran tonight. So you just hope and pray that maybe it comes back to normal. I'm not worried in the long term, but in the short term, it's definitely a problem you're going to have to look out for.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point. When in terms of we talking about bench scoring, yeah, what Goran did tonight was amazing, and you'll take that any night you get. But I think in terms of consistency, what Miami and what the fan base is looking for, since Tyler has moved back into that bench role, you're supposed to be the consistent leading scorer off the bench. You're supposed to carry the offense.
You're younger.
You're younger, like you're capable, and it's like it's okay for you to have some off nights, but for you to string together puts our team in a very difficult position. Like it's difficult for us to win games if we can't sustain minutes without our best players on the floor. Gad, talk some about what you're seeing from Tyler Hero, what you believe the issues are, and do you believe he can turn this around?
I think he can turn it around. My biggest issue with him is not on the offensive end. I know he's been streaky shooting, but at times he's trying to make the right pass. My biggest problem is on the defensive end. He is just afraid of contact, and if he gets a defender, he's literally giving them the lane. He will open his hips before they even move, and he will give them the lane, which is a really, really big problem. So I think he can turn it around, though. He's a confidence guy. Like once those shots start falling, if he gets a mid-range to start the game, he'll be totally fine. I think he will turn it on as we progress in the season. Maybe he's still recovering from the injury, but he's not playing up to par right now. Like tonight's game was not good at all. And what I want to see most is effort on the defensive end because he's just scared to get in front of guys. He is.
Yeah. So I'm not really putting much stock in his defensive basket. I think like we got him to be a scorer, and he needs to. I think that's the role that I'm going to judge him based off of. If his defense improves, great. but like I'm not looking for him to be a defender. I think.
Oh no, not at all. I'm not saying defender, but just like don't be afraid if someone's driving into you to not give them a wide open lane to the basket. Just give them like a shoulder, maybe a hip, even a hand. I don't care.
Gad, you really feel like he's afraid, or is it more just he's a poor defender with poor anticipation and he's not able to stay in front of guys because he's not quick or strong enough?
I take a moment to watch Tyler Hero when like on his closeouts or whatever. I think it is a lack of willingness to take contact. I don't think it's a lack of anticipation or whatever. I think it's a lack of willingness. He's scared to get hit by bigger NBA guys, which is fine.
I kind of disagree, but you might be right. I just think like he's just not a good defender. He's not able to stay in front of guys. Like he's not quick enough, and he doesn't know how to play defense to a level where he can anticipate where the ball handler's going and where he needs to be positionally, in order to cut off the drive and whatever the move is going to be. I just, again, like Royal said, and I know this is not necessarily what you're speaking to, Gad. But what Royal said is we didn't get him to be a defender. That's not his role. He can be as poor a defender as he wants, as long as he can live up to the expectations that the fans and the organization have for him offensively. He needs to do better than he's done, because 8.5 points per game over the last 6 games, just not going to cut it, man.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about, what Gad brings up, is to his point, Tyler's been afraid of contact on like when he's on offense as well. He doesn't get to the free throw line like you expect him to. Even when he gets there, another thing I want to bring up is his free throw shooting. The dude was like a 90% free throw shooter in college and high school. And for some reason, he's shooting like LeBron type of numbers this year, which is mind-boggling.
Like, okay, so Jermaine King asked the question that I think we dancing around, and Brian, I'm gonna throw it to you. Is Tyler Hero soft? Like, is that the problem, bro?
Okay, philosophically, I just don't know about the whole soft thing in the NBA, because it's like it's not fighting, guys. Like, chill. But but I do think that part of it, and this kind of speaks to what Gad is saying, the being afraid of contact, is Tyler Hero, he looks like a small guy. I know he's like 6'6", but he's probably not more than like 200, somewhere between 200 and 210 pounds. Like, he's not only is he skinny, but it doesn't look like he has very much muscle mass. So, it's kind of like if you're driving or you're guarding someone and you're bouncing off of them every time, or, even if you don't, you're getting bruised up. Like, I think mentally you're just like, oh, I'm not going to do that because that crap hurts. So I think that's part of it. Is it's not necessarily soft per se. It's just like your natural human desire to not want to be injured. 210, he wishes, and it could be that, this is what I'm saying. Like 210 is giving him a lot of weight. But the point being, I think that if he was a bigger guy, I think he would probably be more willing to take that contact. But the fact is, he's not. He's just built, naturally, or the way he's built just isn't. It's just not. It's just not conducive to contact. I think it's more what it is.
So I think I'm right. I think you're spot on with that. Like, I don't think Tyler Hero's soft. Like, I think he's shown that he's not afraid of any moments. Like, he's not soft. He's little. Wow, Brian Tyler Hero's soft.
That is exactly what I said.
Obviously, people have gotten misinterpreted on this network several times. Like, I've seen early on where now that Goran's had a good game, everybody's coming at the clutch about the whole first round pick Goran thing, when that is not what that man said. Like,
host, I have a question. So does this hurt because of what Tyler showed last season, man?
Yes, the expectations are relative.
But that's the thing. A rookie comes into the stage where he shows promising stuff, right? And then obviously Corona hits, they get to the bubble, and all of a sudden the man is just unreal. Like, he's doing things that not even Magic Johnson did at a rookie. None of these guys ever had that type of individual performances like he did in the third quarter against Boston. He was just so consistent. But then you got to realize season ends, and it's not even 4 or 5 months, and they go right back into it. Then you make him a starter. Then it's not working, but it's not his fault. He's just playing out of position in my eyes. Now all of a sudden you put him back on the bench. I mean, let's be honest here, man. Like, this kid has had so much success in 1 year that in the second year we're wanting to see that extra or that next I guess, evaluation. But you got to give the man some time to make some mistakes.
Manny, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think because of what he did last
I'm
year.
not young. I'm 33, so I'm thinking as a parent.
We're the same age, man.
I need to see Tyler his whole second year right now, and then I could evaluate it. And if this becomes a consistent thing, by God, holy crap, we were wrong. But you got to give it time, man, for it to unfold.
No, Manny, you're not wrong. I think in the context of what you're talking about, like what we saw in the bubble kind of ratcheted up our expectations for what we expected Tyler, the type of jump that Tyler would make. But I think that we should be measured in what we're looking at. Like, I don't think we're harping on the fact of where Tyler is in his development so much as how he's fulfilling the role that he's been given. And I think that's the line that we want to talk. Like, he didn't fulfill the role as a starter, which is cool. So you move him back to a bench in a role that he should be more comfortable with. And so far, like, he's been inconsistent in that role. I do believe that we should give him time. We should all breathe from the situation. But at some point, we have to start talking about it. And I believe tonight's game just kind of put a magnifying glass on what's been happening. What's going on, Marco?
That's on the front office too. Like, they believed like he was going to take another leap. Like, that's why they didn't go so hard.
They made him a starter.
But
part of it, I think, is also the fact that the fans hyped him up like crazy. Like, this dude was getting, Beal comparisons. People were saying they wouldn't trade him for James Harden. Like, I mean, not to bring up old shit, but the fans kind of took Tyler to be this like crazy all-star, all-NBA type player before he showed any of that. And I know that the 37 points in the Eastern Conference Final was great, but like, we also have to give context to the fact that like most rookies don't get drafted to teams that make a conference finals. So it's not to say that, what Tyler Hero did isn't amazing and that he won't be a really good player, but also like, you put Zion on a conference finals team, what would he have done? You take a lot of players in NBA history and give them that type of a stage. They're probably going to, like a few of them probably would have had decent games, So I think that just because Tyler Hero has had these really amazing moments does not mean that he was going to be this great player. I kind of feel like the expectations for what he realistically probably will be is just a bit disconnected from the actual perception of Hero. So I don't know. I kind of always expected him to be like a 6-man type of player, but that's
but I think that a lot of the expectations among Heat Twitter, especially like the older group of Heat Twitter, that's I guess over, let's say 25 years old or so, who saw Dwayne Wade take that step from year 1 to year 2, right? We had these similar expectations for Tyler Hero because of what he did in the playoffs and the way that he just took his game to another level, right? He averaged more points per game in the playoffs and all around better stats in the playoffs last season as compared to his regular season numbers this year. Generally, it would be the inverse, where your numbers would be better in the regular season and would take a little bit of a hit in the playoffs as you play tougher competition and the game slows down. So I just think the other thing is I kind of feel like he was not used in the proper role when he was put in the starting 5 as a primary ball handler. That's not Tyler Hero. He's a guy who scores and creates off of other players, off of other guys' offense. And so, it's kind of tough to play him and Duncan together, and that's kind of what contributed to him going back to the bench. But again, he wasn't put in an ideal position for him to succeed. And I'm not advocating to trade Duncan, though I would entertain it if the right deal were available. But if Duncan weren't on the team, I could see him fitting very nicely in that starting 5 to where he doesn't have to be the primary ball handler and you run most of the offense through Jimmy and Bam.
That is really interesting that you talk about the concept of trading, that you would entertain Duncan, because there have been some chatter between like Greg, Ethan, and Clutch, like about the front office in Duncan. I'll let Clutch get more into that on the Clutch Corner, which will be on Monday. But there has been some chatter amongst those three about what that is. But yeah, I feel like we spilled it's a cliffhanger, bro. It's called a promo, a tease. You got to get used to that. I'm not gonna give away the goose. But so we spent a lot of time talking about Tyler, but let's actually circle back around to the game to the 2 players essentially who won the game from us. And let's talk about Jimmy, because we haven't given him his just due. Gad, I see you nodding. You've been the positive guy. You like to talk about the good shit. Let's talk about the good shit. What did you see from Jimmy tonight? How do you feel he played? And overall?
Jimmy's defense right now is at a defensive player of the year level. Like, it's not getting enough national media credit. I know we want him to be in the All-Star conversation. I don't really know if that's going to happen, but Jimmy damn sure better be on that Kia top 5 DPOY ladder next week, because he is just all over the place. Like, his defense is unreal. It's the most satisfying thing to watch. And he's the reason we have been the number 1 defense over the last 16 games. He is the reason behind that. He is why our defense is so amazing. And it's night in and night out. Like, it's literally clockwork for Jimmy now. He's honestly taken a step forward from where he was last year. He's going to be one of those few guys that doesn't get an all-star but finishes all NBA. I really think he will. He's on a trajectory that, I mean, he's a top 5 player in the East right now.
Yeah, look, in the East, top 5 player in the league.
He's never been at the level that he's at right now. He's absolutely taken his game to a whole other level. He's, like you said, just a monster, an absolute machine on defense. He's everywhere. His anticipation, his ability to read where the ball handler is going to pass, where the ball handler is going to go, right? He's always in the passing lanes. He's just a monster. He blows up so many actions defensively that you might not, like the average fan might not notice if they were watching the game, but like he's just, it's so insanely valuable. And it's another reason why, and I guess I get the vibe that we don't really want to go into trade talk here, so we won't, but I'm just going to say it's another reason why I feel like the Heat need to make a move and get better now, because you can't waste this version of Jimmy Butler. You can't.
Okay. So Adam he's adamant about me defending his Goran Dragic take. Look, guys, it's okay. All right. So the thing about it is, he's not saying that he would trade Goran Dragic for any first-round pick. What he's saying is that a 34-year-old guard who is clearly declining, there are moments where Goran Dragic is not playing as well. If a team ponies up a valuable first-round pick for him, then you have to at least consider that. We understand why he was signed. We understand why he's here. And we understand that the Heat would never do that. But that is something that, as a good organization, you would have to consider. Like, if somebody was willing to pony up a decent first-round pick for Goran, then you have to look at it. Like, I mean, it just makes sense.
My thing with that, though, is what lottery team is giving up a first round? If we're talking about a valuable first-round pick, it's not coming from a lottery team.
Huh?
Like, it's all hypothetical. I don't really know.
It's all hypothetical.
It's never happening. It's never ever happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all in a hypothetical space, and people took it as him saying like he wants to trade Goran. That is not the case. Like, it is what it is. But like I said, I'll let him get more into that. I just want to kind of clear the air because he's going to keep talking about it. HM put up a wonderful stat that I did not know. Thank you for the $2 dono. He said Jimmy has only committed 28 fouls this year.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
KZ does that in 1 week.
Look at Jinx. One of y'all owe each other a soda. Marco, I mean, Jimmy Butler. We're talking the conversation about top 5 in the East. I've said before, I think at this point, Jimmy Butler is playing like a top 5 player in the NBA. And if you see what this team looks like without him versus how it looks with him, like, I mean, does he have a case for being a league MVP right now?
Mm-hmm. He has a case for being at the table, like the conversation, like the MVP table. If you're going to have Kevin Durant in that conversation, you might as well have Jimmy. They missed the same amount of games this year, especially with the way that they played with him. It's similar to the kind of conversation around Dwayne's year when he was like an MVP candidate. He didn't have as good of a team in terms of record, but he was out there doing everything for his team every night. And Jimmy's doing that on like offense and defense. Like, not to say that Dwayne wasn't doing it on defense, but Jimmy's doing it at like a DPOY level. He had more steals and rebounds tonight. That's fucking insane. But yeah, you have to at least get him at the table and like he's at the MVP conversation table at least. He's putting up numbers. I wrote in the article how it's only like Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan like have put up the same like numbers as he has. Like, it's just insane what he's doing out there. I love how they're having him as like a free safety to like Miami's semi-aggressive defense, which is what they had LeBron do a lot whenever he was here. They had Chris Bosh and Dwayne. They're kind of like blitz the pick and roll.
Pick and roll.
Yeah, they're not doing it as aggressively. They're just like letting KO
because Bosh would be like damn near pushing back to half court. Yeah,
like they're pushing back, just not as much. But they had Jimmy pretty much. There was this awesome play that Cooper Moorhead posted how he knew exactly when Laurie Markkinen he was immediately gonna turn to pass it out. Jimmy jumps up, deflects it, like that's some insane stuff. And there was another one where Jimmy boxes out. Oh, he was like Steve Jones posted it. It was he was closing out on Denzel Valentine, and he immediately goes from his like he's down to defend the guy, and he's like chasing him off the line, and he immediately goes out to Larry Markkinen to contest his three. And I was like, this dude is insane. He's like
Crazy.
Earl Thomas, and I was like, I was just so impressed. He's like one of the best players in Miami Heat history already, and this is only like his second season.
Yeah, so Noble Demon Tim, thank you for the $2 donut. He said just give Boogie a veteran minimum at worst. Hey, bro, I've been on that train. I've been on that train. So I think that last comment that you kind of like walked off with, Marco, is very interesting because they had a similar conversation on what's the pregame show called? Before Floor.
Before
That's
Floor,
what. Yeah, these people have an obsession with the ground. But before Floor, they talked about is Jimmy Butler a top 5 player in Heat history. Brian, we coming to you, and I'm gonna ask everybody this question. So, Brian, I'm coming to you first. Has Jimmy Butler ascended to top 5 status in Miami Heat history?
I think you could put him in that conversation. Granted, I'm 23. I haven't seen all of Miami Heat basketball, so probably not the best guy to ask. But I mean, like, I think he's playing good enough to be top 5. Outside of LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, that duo's reversed. Dwayne Wade first. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. I don't know who else you can point to that's had, at least statistically, a similar season.
Alonzo Mourning is another name that comes to mind. Yeah, exactly. Tim Hardaway, Chris Bosh, those are Shaquille O'Neal. Those are all players that are in this conversation. But Ariel, Manny, you already know, Manny. We're the elder statesmen here, so we got experience. You're 23. You don't know anything. Ariel, has Jimmy Butler kind of put himself in that top 5 category for you?
So to me, it kind of depends on what the barometer is. Like, what exactly are we evaluating? Are we evaluating his peak as a Heat player? If we're evaluating the peak level of play as a Heat player, I think he's easily top 5 with Wade, LeBron, Zoe, and Shaq, I guess. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. But if we're
Tim Hardaway and Bosh, that's who you're forgetting. So shout out to my boy Sheriff Watson, who knew where I was going with this. Vladimir Stepanya is the GOAT, even though he spelled Stepanya name wrong. But Vladimir Stepanya is GOAT. No, look, don't kick them out, Manny. They know.
I wasn't done making my point.
Yeah, they know not how they speak. But finish making your point, Ariel.
What I was trying to get at was, if we're talking specifically about his peak level as a player, I think he is top 5. If we are talking about longevity with the Heat and accomplishments over his time with the Heat, then he's top 7 or 8 with Tim Hardaway and Chris Bosh as well in that grouping. But if, like, again, just the player that he is right now, are there 5 players in Heat history who, when they were at their best with the Heat, are they better than him? I don't think so, man. I think he's in that top 5 towards the end of it, though.
Okay, I'll give my takes last because I'm going to give you guys the right answer. Marco,
if he continues this level of play for like another one more year or 2 years?
Yeah, another year, 1 year.
Yeah, like Shaq only had like one great year in Miami, like one and a half great years.
But he was the runner-up for MVP that year, so that is also why he's.
That's why Jimmy, like, let's say another year like this, I think he's going to be in there. Like Chris Bosh wasn't going to have a 40-point like near triple double in the finals like Jimmy. He's not having that type of night. And I love Chris Bosh. He's my dude.
Y'all must not have watched Chris Bosh when he played without Wade and Braun out there.
Oh, he was.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, yeah. Y'all ain't see him,
great.
Yeah, he's the man.
He put
go
up
ahead,
28 and 12 at least. But come on, Jimmy's the different breed. I think he needs a couple like more seasons for you to like comfortably say that. And you can't really blame anybody for saying he's not going to get there, because like he's shown you he's going to like work hard and be the man and do everything he can for the team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in that top 5 by the end of next year.
Okay, Gat,
Listen,
you're 21. You're the youngest one, so you get a pass.
Yeah.
Already.
Like my top the players that I've fucking watched for the Miami Heat, it's like you got LeBron, Wade, Bosh, 2016, 2017, second half of the season, Dion Waiters,
Joe Johnson for a month.
Rodney Magruder on a Wednesday. Like
Hey, Lil Dang was fantastic. Shout out to Dang.
Most
But yeah,
important signing
Jimmy's
in
my
Heat
guy.
history.
Jimmy's my guy. I will vouch for Jimmy in any argument or whatever. Just watch what he's doing. He's a beast. But I just want the right answer because my answer is going to be wrong. So give me the right answer.
So the right answer is no. Jimmy Butler has not yet ascended into that top 5 category. But like Marco said, in another year, if he continues this level of play, then it will be a foregone conclusion. The top 5 right now would be definitely Dwayne Wade.
Kelly Olynyk.
No, not a chance. Dwayne Wade.
Hold on, Royal. Before you answer that, would you say that this list of the top 5 Heat players, these players were so good on both ends of the court, correct? Offensively and defensively. Because when you think of Wade, you think of his blocks and him going down the court and scoring 30 on you nightly. LeBron, the same thing. Jimmy's doing the exact same thing right now.
When I think about my list, I think about the way that they impacted winning at their peak. So when we're talking about the peak form of them at the Miami Heat, I'm thinking about the way that they impacted the team's overall winning. Nobody has done that at a higher rate than Dwayne Wade, number 1, LeBron James, number 2, Alonzo Mourning, number 3.
Well, I'm going to say this. If the Heat don't make a drastic change, it's going to be difficult then for Jimmy to top that level of your expectations from top 5. Because he can still do this for another year or two, and the Heat might not even be close for a championship.
What I'm saying is, at his absolute peak right now, he stacks up very well with those same class of people. Right, like right now is Jimmy Butler's absolute, or the finals was his absolute peak. That stacks up individually versus any of them. It's just the longevity. That was his first season. This is his second season, which is why I said one more season of Jimmy Butler playing even remotely close to this vaults him into that top 5 conversation. But I still put Shaq above him because his first season with Miami was phenomenal. It was, and if Wade didn't get hurt, then we are a finals team. So I put, he's right there. He's right there with the Bosh, the Tim Hardaways. Like he's right there in that class. But I just don't think I can put him in that top 5 just yet. But
I don't think Bosh or Hardaway were at this level, though. I love both guys, man. I was a huge fan of both. They're not at the level that Jimmy's at right now. So again, if you're evaluating peak, it's a different conversation from if you're evaluating longevity.
When I'm talking about the peak of not Bosh so much, but when you're talking about Hardaway, the way Hardaway impacted that team, like there was nobody who could replicate what Hardaway did on that team. You took Hardaway off that team, it's a different team.
This is no different though.
Yeah, it's not, and that's what I'm saying. Hardaway did it for longer. That's what I'm saying. Jimmy does this one more year, then he takes that spot easily, and that's just where I'm at with it. Like for right now, he hasn't done quite enough in a Heat uniform to warrant that spot, but it's not because of anything that he's done on the court. So that's my whole argument about that. But can I imagine Bosh in today's NBA? Absolutely, he would be a monster. So I don't think that we spent enough time talking about Goran tonight. He was the player of the night in my eyes because of what he did in the fourth quarter. Let's give him his just due before we go ahead and wrap this thing up. Gad, where were you on Goran tonight?
Went crazy. He won us the game. Like we've won 3 straight without Bam Adebayo, and I know Bam maybe was not playing perfect before he got injured, but Bam is still ridiculously valuable to this team, and to keep the momentum going with even Bam sitting is just a really big deal. Jimmy's keeping us afloat, and now we're starting to really gain momentum. I mean, we're two games over 500 right now. I believe we're in the 4 seed. That's huge. Like this team really did not look like they were going to be in this position about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. So thank you, Goran, for carrying in the fourth quarter, and hopefully he can rest up, have a nice, relaxing Saturday, and then come back Sunday and do the same damn thing against the Magic.
Somebody said that boy need to shut up. Jimmy is definitely top 5. Bosh ain't leading his team to the finals. Look, I understand what you're saying, but you need to listen instead of just spewing your nonsense. I also want to shout out Carmen B. He said, Royal, did I use the thing yet? No, I didn't. It's a surprise for people that he sent me, and I'm going to use it for something else. I'm not giving away to go. So Ariel, where were you on Goran tonight?
What I saw from Goran was obviously he played amazing towards the end of the game, but I was kind of concerned about him leading up until that point because like we had mentioned earlier, or I had mentioned that, he hadn't been looking as spry, and it had been a little bit since we had seen a real strong stretch, a takeover stretch from Goran, where he's getting to the rim and making threes and doing everything and just being fearless. But towards the end of the first half, for the second time in 2 games, I noticed him leave the game and go to leave the bench and go to the back. And so I don't know if there's an injury. I don't know if something's going on. I don't know if he had to take a leak. But I don't know what it was. Could have got. No, I'm not gonna go there.
You know
it. But it definitely contributed to my level of concern with him. So I just breathed a massive sigh of relief in the fourth quarter when he absolutely, come on, can we just take a second and talk about how phenomenal that stretch was? Because I think he scored
absolutely.
9 straight points, right? And he just carried them. What did he end with in that quarter? We said 20?
Yeah, 20. He almost caught Wade's record for most points scored in the fourth quarter. But it's like with that though, it was kind of like it gave me bubble Goran feels, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like when at certain stretches of time in the bubble when we were just missing something. Like he came in, he gave it to us, and that's exactly what the feels that I got from Goran tonight. And it was nice to relive for, even if it's only going to be for the one night in the next 5 games. Brian, where were you on Goran?
No, same as everybody else, man. That guy was fantastic. Like, there's no other word to use. I mean, when you score 20 in a quarter, like, I don't care how bad the defense is, that's an amazing night. So shout out to Dragic. Hopefully we see more of that in the future.
Okay. Marco Romo.
I want to ask y'all, do you know who the 3 guys to score 20 points in a fourth quarter for Miami are?
Yes, Dwayne Wade did it twice. He scored 24
Kelly
points
Olynyk.
in the quarter, and Goran Dragic did it.
Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk
did it last year against the Nuggets
In the
the
bubble.
first game out in the bubble.
Are you
lying,
serious?
yo.
I have no record. I omit all of that shit from my brain. I
thought it was a trick question, bro. I thought I nailed that
Dwayne
shit.
twice. I would have
Yeah, I
known
thought
what
I
that
nailed
is.
that.
Chef Truly's Twitter account on that game was the funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Man.
I could
I
not
know,
stop
Chef-
laughing.
Chef Truly took over the Clutch Corner account for the Clutch Corner Twitter for a little while. That shit was fucking hilarious. But go ahead, Marco.
I just wanted to share that. But yeah, one thing that I really love that Goran did was he used Kobe White's aggressiveness against him. Kobe played up on him, and Goran was like, "Okay, you're gonna play up on me. I'm just gonna go right through you because he's way stronger than him." He put him on his back, so he had Kobe at a disadvantage. So the defense would always have to help early, and they would either foul him or he'd get a shot up no matter what. And even when he wasn't getting that, he was getting the step back because he's feeling it when he does that step back. It's just absolutely dirty. Like the balance he has on that, when he gets into the paint, it's almost like Chris Paul. The way that he can get that mid-range shot off on anybody. It's like it doesn't matter how you're defending him; he's just gonna get it off. And it was like this is like peak Goran. You're not gonna want to rely on that every night, but it was just awesome to see though.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up. You see Clutch in the comments trying to dictate how the show goes. Manny in the private chat telling me to shut up. I want to keep talking. I like having Heat wins, but I'm going to listen to the powers that be, and we're going to pay the bills. Well, before we do that, we're going to keep this conversation going just a little while longer. Win or loss next game versus Orlando. Gad.
Win.
Ariel.
Win.
Brian.
Win.
No gang signs. Marco.
Win.
All right, everybody. Let's pay the bills. So tonight, Brian, you got Biscayne Bay Brewery.
First of all, it's not a gang sign, West Side. Yeah. So Biscayne Bay Brewery, drink.
Is this man on mute?
Absolutely.
hear him?
No.
Oh, go ahead. We'll give you
No,
that.
anyway, I was saying, you can buy it. It's delicious. You can get it. You could ask for it if you're going out to a restaurant. They probably have it. You can buy it at the store in South Florida. The weekend's coming up. Man. So you need something to drink. Biscayne Bay Brewery should be the first thing on your mind.
Yes,
It's cool.
True.
Yeah.
All right, so tonight, Miami Grill. We got my man Ariel. We're gonna let you talk about Miami Grill tonight.
Oh, man, I was so ready to do the other one. Okay, Miami Grill. I've never been there because I don't live in Miami, but I've heard from my man Simba that it's absolutely phenomenal. They bring Miami to the table. If you're craving it, they're making it. They've got the best of everything from everywhere. Cheesesteak, Greek gyros or gyros, if you want to say it properly. Chicken wings and everything in between. You're always craving something from Miami. So order now. Visit Miami Grill. I don't know where they're located, but you know how to use the internet. Look it up. Miami Grill.
Miami Grill is literally everywhere, so it's not
I
it's not hard. It's not
live
hard
in
to
Canada.
find.
We don't have it. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
it's not hard to find. I live in Tallahassee, and we don't have it up here. And every time I go home, I make sure I stop by. Marco, you got Prize Picks.
Yes, the one I know about. Prize Picks is a new betting website, better than FanDuel, better than all the other ones. You know what I'm saying? I've been using it a lot. Bet on the Jimmy overnight, which was easy. You can just you can bet on 3 guys. Say you want Jimmy or get the over on points, scoring over on points. You would have won some money tonight. So get Prize Picks. Use promo code 5. I really do recommend it. It's really addictive. But don't get a gambling problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took the over on Jimmy and Zach LaVine tonight, and so I made me some money tonight too. Yeah, I made me a little money on it too. Gad, there are no more sponsors, so you get to plug. You get to plug the shoot around.
Yeah, Ariel and I just talk Miami Heat basketball because what else are we going to do early in the morning after or before a Heat game? We just give you the most generic possible, the quickest, most concise, 140 seconds or less. We're going to tell you what to expect from the game. Ariel said it was going to be pace and low scoring. I said we needed to win the free throw line battle. We did both of those. So I guess, I don't know, maybe the insight's pretty good. I don't know. You guys will have to be the judge of that.
Yeah, add that to your list of things. Look at Manny. Wow.
My man.
That's my Twitter.
That
So
is wonderful.
it'll either be on his Twitter feed or my Twitter feed. So follow both of us, Gad, if you want to change your name because on here because nobody's going to be able to spell out your name on Twitter.
I'm a man of mystery. I'll let him figure it out.
So it'll either be on my feed or his feed on game day morning. So make sure you check that out.
Absolutely. Clutch, quit trying to do my job from the comments. I know what I'm supposed to plug. So I get the last plug and the last words of the night. So make sure you guys check out the Clutch Corner. This week, it will be on Monday at 9:30. And that is to acclimate our very special guest, the leader of the Wang Gang, Miss Kylie Wang, will be joining us on the Clutch Corner on Monday at 9:30 p.m. So make sure that you do that. Who is Kylie? Kylie R. Wang. If you don't know who she is, then you are asleep. Find her on Twitter, Kylie R. Wang. But she's going to be on the Clutch Corner with us on Monday at 9:30. I think my guy Manny has one more question about Precious. Please jump in here and ask it because we have to wrap up in 5 minutes per our producer.
Oh, no, that was me, actually, that set out. I just want to ask, do you guys think, because Precious kind of been like, Chris Silva replaced him today. Do you think Precious is maybe more available in trades that we might anticipate?
I would speculate that yes, but I have zero inside info.
I would also speculate that you'll hear more about that on the Clutch Corner on Monday at 9:30 when we have a special guest, Kylie R. Wang. So thank you to my guys, Gadiel Cartagena, Marco Romo, Ariel Latias, and Brian Young for joining me tonight. You guys, thank you for joining us in the comments, making the show always more fun. This is now called the Post Up. I'm going to get it down so I'll have something to kind of do that. But thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys on Sunday when we play Orlando after the game.
Your balls will thank you.